No sooner had those wonders ceased than the BBC and ITV went head-to-head again, this time with an extended musical casting session. In the Beebs Corner, Any Dream Will Do, a sort of Christian rock festival crossed with a camp video game. And on ITV, Grease is the Word, a doomed attempt to replace John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John with a couple of gurgling Argos assistants. As the year wore on, the channels brought out their biggest hitters. For the BBC, that means the bafflingly popular celebrity jig fest Strictly Come Dancing. The dancing all seems fairly monotonous to me, but I guess it's beside the point, because Strictly's main appeal comes in gauging the sexual chemistry between each pair and thinking, I wonder if they've, you know, maybe... and he's on her. Now, you don't find yourself wondering if the contestants are shagging each other when you watch The X Factor. Well, except when these two are on. Yes, same difference, the pop equivalent of two twinkle-eyed cult members trying to recruit you in time for the rapture. The standout X Factor act was, of course, Ridian Roberts, who stomped around the stage as though playing the lead in a gay remake of The Terminator, howling notes like an early warning system. Next year you can look forward to Celebrity Origami Wars, Soap Star Schindler's List, Britain's Greatest Weatherman and Strictly Come Faces, in which a bunch of blokes have to pull off and go, ugh. May brought the return of Big Brother. Fortunately, after all the hullabaloo in January, this time round there was no racism whatsoever for about 5 minutes.
You're pushing it out, you
This time round the problem was swiftly dealt with and the series carried on, and on, and on, longer than ever in fact, and it featured so many housemates that for the first time in BB history, some of them faded into obscurity while they were still on the show. In case you've forgotten, the full roster of housemates consisted of Posh Spice, Millie Tant, Charlie Williams, Mrs Mangle, Jean Wilder, a Greek dormouse, the Witch off Chorlton and the Wheelies, Matt Lucas, Cleopatra, 2 copies of Barely Legal, a cartoon cat, a haircut, a lipless Disney prince, Kate Thornton, Paris Hilton, Liam, her, that, Mark Lawson, Mr Muscle and Grace Jones, who won! Also in May, Panorama reporter John Sweeney tackled the shadowy world of Scientology by investigating and shouting at it.
You were not there! You did not hear or record all the interview! Do you understand?
What a mad cult.
June is often a quiet month in TV land, not quite as quiet as August, when every commissioning pisses off to a gîte in the south of France for a couple of weeks to read novels and think about kitchens until the entire TV industry grinds to a halt, but still pretty quiet.
So let's skip June and listen to Grace Dent talking about the year in soaps.
The question that I've been asking in EastEnders this year is just what the hell has happened to Stacey Slater?
Keep smiling, nearly there.
The big ongoing story has been the sordid, filthy affair between Max Branning and his daughter-in-law-to-be. At one point, she just seemed to be this real rough diamond, and now she's this demented, coal-eyed slag bag who's just determined to absolutely wreck Max Branning's life just through the power of a vag alone.
Do you still give you that knot in the pit of your stomach?
You can get that from eating too many raisins.
I do have a bit of sympathy for Max because I do feel like he has this hard life and he's living with a lot of really hormonal women. I'm home! I think that's why he's just got that really sad look. I think that's why his hair all fell out. I think that's maybe why he's always got that face like he's never ever got to watch Top Gear right through to the power lap round. He's just a really, really unhappy man. Phil Mitchell was back on the square this year.
He's always got the ump. Quite sexy, really.
Brilliantly, he ended up back on the drink. Now, sober Phil is a big enough pain in the arse, but then you've got fun-time Friday night alcoholic Phil.
Mate.
With his big red face and his, like, lax acknowledgement of body space, just kind of, like, pivoting around the pub and mistaking the Queen Vic bar for a urinal and titting up barmaids.
It's a lot of scotch, man. Come on, hurry up, I think all day.
You can't hate him for it, because if I lived with Peggy, I would need a drink too.
Well, go on then, if you're going to.
It's been a really good year for Minty.
Let's get jiggy.
Minty, to me, is a special executive class of soap star who I actually love with all of my heart and I don't want to think that they're actors. I just want to think that when Minty finishes at the studios, he just goes home and he's Minty again. This year, he had an affair with Gary's mum. If they got together, Minty would be Gary's stepdad. Ow! Last year, David Platt set himself up as Coronation Street's very own Antichrist. Early on in the year, he was blackmailing Tracy Barlow for sex. He was just very, very, very sexually frustrated. Not that that's an excuse. Most late teenage boys, when they're sexually frustrated, they just retire to their bedroom, surrounded by crusty socks and kind of well-rustled pictures of Lindsay Dawn McKenzie. They don't have to be like the architect of terribleness, so I can't excuse him for that. It's been a really good year for Steve McDonald. He's managed to get it together with Michelle, the barmaid. I just think that, you know, while they're so wrapped up in love with each other, they might forget about kind of pulling the, you know, Steve's daughter Amy's hair into that really, really cruel, tight top knot. I feel really sorry for the child because it just seems like if they carry on doing that, she's going to end up with a hairline like his. There's been big excitement with the arrival of John Stape. He's a teacher. Despite resembling a kind of smaller, plumper, less charismatic Curly Watts, he seems to inspire lust in all of the women that meet him. The one person who has had the upper hand over all the other Corrie women has been Rosie Webster. I don't quite know what happened. At one point she was a slightly miserable goth, and now every day she gets up and puts Paris Hilton's slut fancy dress on and plasters her face in makeup and then tries to give her teacher another blowjob. It's been a rather hectic year for Viv Hope over in Emmerdale, who has given birth to twins at the age of 50. She had them out on the moors.
I can't believe this is happening!
Shh, try and keep calm.
I bet you're all wishing that you'd watched Emmerdale now.
In July, the TV crisis engulfed the BBC. First, there was the Queen trailer cock-up. We were going to do a funny piece on that. And the phone-in scandals, including Blue Peter. We were going to cover that too.
This prompted all sorts of questions over how misleading the medium was as a whole, sending public trust in TV plummeting to an all-time low.
Do you believe anything you see on TV?
Yeah.
Would you mind just saying, for the purposes of this, that you don't believe anything? Is that all right? OK. Do you believe anything you see on TV?
No, not really.
Thanks to the relentless drip of scandals, TV had a complete nervous breakdown.
ITV boss Michael Grade pledged zero tolerance for anyone caught betraying the viewer's trust, although later in the year, when a report fingered Ant and Dec, zero tolerance turned out to mean zero. Anyway, it wasn't July's only storm. The news got its teeth stuck into a crisis at last as Britain went all aquatic. This gave the anchormen a chance to look hard, standing around in waterlogged streets, pissing themselves with excitement, which of course only made the situation worse. They also encouraged input from tiresome members of the public and occasionally got more than they bargained for, like this poor woman on Channel 4 News. But the floods were nothing compared to the nationwide weeping that accompanied the move in Concert for Diana, at which Emmy-winning comic genius Ricky Gervais paid fitting tribute by inadvertently causing the biggest car crash since 1997. Next, TV got a hammering for being ageist as 60-year-old Nick Ross left long-running Scarefest Crime Watch under suspicious circumstances.
And perhaps the last time that you will hear these words, don't have nightmares.
Older people are actually amongst TV's most loyal viewers, and nowhere is this more apparent than in the daytime schedules.
In the afternoon, OAPs are king, sitting at home surrounded by their Battenberg cake and their memories. They're a huge percentage of the ratings for chat show hosts such as the waspish Paul O'Grady or the tune-murdering Anthony Cotton. You know, I hope this is still going when I'm nearing death, because this is precisely the sort of thing that would really brighten up my last remaining days on the planet. Of course, the problem with tuning into the old folk slot is that all the adverts serve as a haunting reminder that one day you'll be infirm and wizened yourself. It's all self-consciously breezy sales pitches for stair lifts and walk-in slump-down shower contraptions, which look a bit like the sort of thing they'd hose a cadaver down in on CSI. My favourite afternoon ad is this one, in which a silver-haired Lothario attempts to lay some pipe supreme on a mature babe by impressing her with a microwaved ready meal.
This fish is divine!
Of course, the tragedy here is that that's actually the ghost of his dead wife.
Hello, Mr. Williams. Here are your meals. Roast beef, hot pot, massage.
I'm entertaining.
Give her one from me, Mr. Williams. Try to do it without breaking a hip.